Terrain, and how to use terrain in your games to enhance every single encounter that you possibly can. Every encounter you do should have some type of terrain in there to shake things up, spice things up, and not have it be just a huge flat battlefield. Even if I was doing like a gladiator arena of a big huge circle, I'd have some pillars in there that do something, that have some sort of magic pulses, and you roll a d4 and one of the 4 pillars on that turn activates as a layer action. Like simple stuff that you could just pull out of what would make sense in that moment. So if you're in the middle of a forest, a bunch of trees, maybe there's a bunch of trees that form like this weird semicircle arc. Maybe there's a moat in the center of it, some sort of water source. Maybe I've thrown out there in some sort of creepy forest area, I threw a pond mimic, like a literal mimic that is a pond, and that was the thing. And it had these weird algae type things, and if the player backed into it, the grapple check to be pulled into, oh my gosh, right? So always have some type of environmental something. A huge tip here, first one is levels. Change up the levels. Have some sort of high ledge with some archers on it that you're shooting down at your players. Have some sort of cliff face that it's like a ramp. Like even if it's a flat field in the middle of nowhere, have some sort of ramp that just drops off, and it looks like literally like I don't know, say like a skateboard half pipe in the middle of the forest, but have some sort of elevation and then drop offs to give some levels going here. Have some sort of gaps. Maybe there's cracks and there's ditches and pitfalls. You can have literal traps, like things that are in there that would make sense for there to be where you're at. If you're in the middle of the desert, maybe there's a section of quicksand. Maybe there's sand and everything's difficult terrain. Think of how you could make an excuse to come up with difficult terrain. Difficult terrain is so simple, but if you put it into your game, it makes people have to think more. Maybe they have to jump across the difficult terrain. Maybe you put like a 20-foot section that only your strong player with 20 feet or 20 points of strength could jump over it. Everybody else would have to think of something else. Gaps, distances, water, moats, lava, terrain, some sort of covered structures that can either fall in the ceiling on, if there's some sort, if you're already, I'm getting excited, guys. If you're already inside something and there's a cave of some kind, maybe there's some things on the ceiling that fall, and there's a layer action where everybody makes a dexterity saving throw in a certain section and stuff could fall on you, right? So terrain should be in every encounter, and you should think about how big or how small of a role that it should play. There should be some sort of, like, anytime I've drawn a battle map for a fight, I have this, there's a huge stage, and they're going to come from this is where the boss is going to start at, and there's all this stuff on the sides, but then I need to put pillars in the center, maybe some big fallen debris over here, maybe there's some bodies, there's some like weird bodies on the floor, and that they're going to animate if I want them to during the fight, and they're going to come back to life. I'm going to put a crystal at the very top. I'll put stuff in there that I maybe not necessarily know that I want to have stuff in or mechanics for, but it just can lend it to itself and open yourself up to being able to insert in whatever else you want to do. Have those bodies rise up if the fight starts going south and it's really going bad and you really want to have something else happen. The bodies start to rise up as a layer action, or that crystal starts glowing really bright when the boss hits 50%. Put cool things in the room so when you describe the rooms, they could become something else. So not just the terrain, but the extra pieces that are in that room. Final terrain tip is think about your players. Think about what your players can do well and not do well. Is some of them very good at swimming and have a swim speed? Put some sort of water in your game, or put some sort of, it doesn't look like water, but then when the fight starts and something rips apart or rips open, now there's water and they're now having to figure out how to swim around in the water. Or if your players have fly, and if they can fly, have some sort of thing and contraptions flying around that are floating around in the air. Give them some floating platforms to jump on. Maybe the platforms start moving during the fight. I've also done this before with initiative count 20. Something shifts and moves. Initiative count 10. It keeps shifting and moving, and it keeps going like that. I've had my players fight in a room with a spinning walls of fire that I rotated on every initiative counts 20, 15, 10, and 5. I would just and so they had to keep moving to get away from the thing. So put cool things. Movement makes it cool. Levels makes it cool. Gaps, spaces, up, down, left, right, everywhere. Time out. If you guys didn't already know this, I make monthly PDFs with a ton of awesome crap in there. Well, it's not like crap. It's good stuff. It's professional grade quality, custom art, all that stuff, homebrew stuff, DM tip stuff, everything. I actually make 3 PDFs every single month for different reward tiers over on Patreon that already has a ton of other cool perks too. Because Patreon truly is the lifeblood of this channel, and I want to keep doing more and more stuff to say thank you. And I really try and give you guys some next level stuff and give you the best I got. So if that sounds cool, check it out. I'm sure the link will be down in the description.